Thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm well, thank you. Excellent. So we are live and let's get the room started, shall we? Well, welcome everyone to the Public Practice Accountants Club on Clubhouse, where public practitioner, thought leaders, industry specialists and accountants just like you discuss hot topics in public practice and how they go about navigating the public practice landscape all around the world. So fundamentally, public practice has the same principles, dynamics and challenges, no matter where we are in the world. We might have some different tax seasons, busy periods and legislation, but at the core, we are very much the same. So our room this morning is Next Gen Accountants, how to have your piece of the advisory pie. So good morning to everyone joining us on Clubhouse. I think we've got some newer people this morning, so I will quickly introduce myself. My name is Linda Steffens. I am an accountant and author, an accountant, that's not a good start, an accountant, an author, I do count, and an introvert. And I've been hanging around public practice now for just over 30 years. I've owned a couple of accounting businesses myself over that time. And more recently, I've been helping accountants with being successful in bringing advisory work to their firms and making that an ongoing process that they can have for an income stream. And of course, I have my amazing co-host, Kylie Baxter. Good morning, Kylie.
Good morning, everyone. I'll do a quick intro too, but before I get there, so funny that you said counter, because when my daughter was very young,
yes,
and she, what would mummy do for work? She would always say, "Mummy's a counter."
Oh, how cute is that? I love that. Yes, because we do count.
We count a lot.
We do.
In all of the ways.
Yes.
Yes, I'm Kylie Baxter. I have a firm here on the beautiful Gold Coast, which is turning up the nice weather, sometimes, not always. And we are, obviously, it's a public practice firm. I've run this for coming up to 20 years now in some way, shape or form. The time flies when you're having fun. And I guess my jam is all about, efficiency and how to get the most out of your practice and your staff and, making sure that we're always doing what we do the best way we can.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kylie. And I think just a quick reminder to everybody that you may not be aware, we are a CPA public practice discussion group. So you can get your CPD and CPE points for listening into us. Clubhouse also has the replays. And of course, you can find this over on YouTube and my LinkedIn as well. So a reminder as we kick off the conversation that, of course, our intention is always to be positive, supportive and collaborative as we come together in support of our amazing industry, no matter where we are in the world. Alrighty. Next Gen Accountants, how to have your piece of the advisory pie. As a next gen accountant, you're forward thinking, you think you've got the finger on the pulse, you want to go offering advisory right from the get-go, but perhaps you haven't got a solid client base, you might be worried you don't have enough experience, only partners offer advisory in the firm. Can new accountants offer advisory, or what I like to call business improvement advisory? That's what we're going to chat about this morning. So I think the place to start, Kylie, is, well, what's a next gen accountant? What do we deem as the next gen accountant?
Yeah, look, I thought that was a good place to start as well, Linda.
That's good. We're on the same path.
I know. I feel like that term is so general.
Yes.
I don't know that anyone particularly is out there saying, I'm a next gen accountant.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's not on our name tags, is it? No.
No. It's not something, it's not like the small letters that go after your name.
No.
So, I think for me, when we talk about next gen accountants, it's probably those accountants, wherever they're at in their career, but mostly it's early entries,
yes.
regardless of their age or career experience to date. So it's early entries into our accounting world, looking at what we do, saying, is this the right way? Can I do it differently? And I think there's
Yes.
been an explosion of that because we've had a heap of people enter our industry. You know, the entry is pretty low cost these days.
Yes.
You can run a
Yes.
digital firm, you know, from anywhere,
Mhm.
or people exiting their businesses and going out more on their own as well. So that's who I think the next gen accountants are.
Oh, I think you're spot. No, I think you're spot on. And I love that you said that it doesn't really matter where you are in your career. And,
No.
you know, because I think next gen means to me, looking to the future. You know, I'm focused on the future. What is it that we need to do to be able to continue to be successful, both in our own rights as professionals and business owners, and also continue to help our clients in the way that our clients want and are looking for. So not so much traditionally compliance focused, but has this future focus is what I would say a next gen accountant is. Excellent. So we're on the same page. All right. The next one to talk about, advisory. What do we mean by advisory? That's the other thing. I know you and I can both agree on this, that we don't particularly like that term, advisory. It is something that we definitely use. It's an industry-based term. The industry understands it, but from my perspective and what I do in my work, I don't think clients understand it. They don't know what it is. It's a bit scary. It sounds expensive and something extra they've got to pay for. So, you know, I think we've got to be very careful in how we use it. So I like to talk about business improvement rather than advisory. And I know you have another way of talking about it as well, Kylie.
I do. I talk to clients about get to know your business better.
Yes.
So that's how I explain it, because it's things that resonate with them particularly. And, you know, there's a whole range of services. I wouldn't say I dislike the term advisory. I think the word advisory is fine. I dislike the way that it gets bandied around.
Yes.
You know?
Okay.
And I think,
yes.
I think it dilutes the meaning and understanding of it. So
yes.
that's my problem.
Yes, yeah. So I think that's, and I know we've had a chat about advisory work and what that means and how we should be successful with it in the past. But I think the one really key thing that came out of that discussion was that regardless, you need to define it for yourself, because advisory or business improvement or getting to know your business can mean a whole raft of things, right? You know, it can mean services from doing a bookkeeping audit right through to succession planning and anything in between, you know, anywhere where you're giving some sort of advice. And I would say that 9.5, 9.9 accounting firms out of 10 are doing advisory, whether they recognize it or they don't. And a lot of it, unfortunately, at the moment is often given away for free because it just gets added in, you know?
That was going to be my point as well. You know, it's good that we're all doing it, but are we all charging for it?
Yes, so, because it's hard to identify when you switch into that. Yeah, because it's so closely aligned with the compliance-based activities that we do. Yeah. So I think the thing is firstly, take some time to look at what advisory is for you or your business or your firm, wherever you are in that, and what that actually means. And then, of course, I think, you know, it's really important. It's fine to have these services, but if clients aren't interested in them or don't want them, well, then what's the point? It's all really about servicing our clients. So your get to know your business better service, or how you talk about that, Kylie, that came from clients wanting to talk to you, or did you realize that clients just wanted that, or you just started doing that and they loved it and then you expanded that? How did that happen?
Well, we've always done it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say advisory as a service is a new service to anyone. It's probably inbuilt in your practice, because clients need advice, they need our help, and that's why they come to us. It's very, I would say it's even getting rarer that clients will come for compliance only and never, ever, ever speak to you again about anything else. Even if you're just meeting with them for compliance purposes, there'll be things in that discussion that prompt further discussion and advice. So I think we always gave, you know, or always acted in that advisory space. But the disconnect that I identified was that clients don't resonate with the term advisory services. Like, if you've got a website and you're like, we offer compliance, Like, that's tax returns, financial statements.
Yes, get that.
They're like, okay, got it. Yes, we need to do that. And then if you just say, well, we do business services or we do advisory services, and I think before the term advisory was around, it was sort of this business services sort of thing that was complicating it as well.
Correct.
We still have business services. It's like, well, hang on. What is that? What is that exactly? And you're right. People just assume, oh, it's going to add to my fee. So
it sounds like more compliance to me. I don't want that.
Exactly. So I realised that clients needed a really easy way to understand exactly what that was. And that's why I use the term get to know your business better. Because often, like, every single accountant will have been asked, well, you're telling me I've got a profit and I've got tax to pay, but I don't have any money in the bank. So how is that possible? That answer is like the prime kickstart to your advisory services, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Because they don't understand. And I think a lot of people think, oh, no, that's just a question about tax returns, or that's just a question about where the money is. Well, where the money is part of these services.
Absolutely.
So I think it's about identifying how to communicate it to clients, what services that you have the skill set to offer and share with your clients, you know, and that changes depending on the kind of client.
It does.
That wants these services.
It does, absolutely. And so that's why it's so important to look at what it is, you know, that you are actually doing in your firm and, you know, what resonates with clients. And I do think that, again, a lot of where I spend my time, it's about meeting clients where they are. You know, we are service professionals. We've got some amazing knowledge and expertise and a whole lot of stuff to help our clients. We know we can help them. It's then about positioning it in a way that they can understand. So so maybe taking away that word advisory and explaining it just to clients in a way that they can get a hold of. So you're getting to know your business, I'm business improvement. And I think there's plenty of information out there that talks about, you know, what clients want. They are looking for information on how they can grow their businesses or growth opportunities, on some sort of strategy, planning, budgeting, cash flow forecasting. They do all want that, but when we wrap it up and talk about it in our accountant language, it gets a bit confusing for them. So it's really all in the communication, isn't it, Kylie, I suppose?
100% communication, because that identifies not only what they want, but also what they need.
Yeah. So first thing, okay, we've got our next gen accountants. We know who they are, their future focus, looking forward. What do we need to do? Advisory, really up to you as to what advisory is, but importantly, talking about it in a way that clients can understand, not perhaps using all of our accountant jargon that we talk about.
I think software developers would have us believe that advisory is pulling reports monthly out of the program. Automated, don't get me wrong, it's an automated program.
Yes.
And then providing that to our clients and giving them an explanation on what that means. I think that has a space, definitely, you know, in this field. But I think that is not the be all and end all. So if you want to start, maybe that's a great space. Clients generally like that. But it gets repetitious, I dare say boring, and that information then gets overlooked. So the actual advisory part is the explanation of what that means and the revelations that come out of those discussions. So then we've got some key things that we need to dig deeper on and work with.
Exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. You find traditionally where firms start to use those software tools, and they're just a tool like anything else, and it really is the value for the client, you're right, is in the conversation. And what do I do with this information? How can I understand it? How can we empower our clients to go away and use that, just like we can see these amazing gems sitting there in the story that the numbers are telling. That's the bit we've got to pass on to our clients so they can do something with it. But it very much is in the conversation, and you'll see then the life cycle often. I'm sure firms have experienced this. Actually, I know they have, is that we get clients onto these great programs and these services. Perhaps we're meeting with them monthly. We're showing them these fabulous reports. And after 3-4 months, they just go, you know what? I don't really see value in this. Let's not do that anymore. and then out the window goes your amazing advisory service, so it is very much around the communication and how you go about delivering it. So meeting clients where they are, I think that's the important thing. We can talk till we're blue in the face about doing advisory, but if clients don't want it and won't pay for it, and it's not positioned in the right way that they can understand it, well, then what's the point? That's what we're here for, right? So I think we just got to get across that.
Absolutely. And it's really making sure that people have an understanding of your skill set as well. And not only yours, but also your team if you have one.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of our clients do just assume that we just do a certain set of services, and they don't know that this exists, because this is a space that we play in that can be, like you said, Linda, anything from go to woe. It's not something that you can put on your website, or it's not something that da-da-da. And when you sit down with a new client and you, like, one of the questions I always ask is, what are you looking for? What are you seeking? If this was your perfect world and you could say, give me these services, what are they? Never, ever, ever have I had a client say, oh, and I'd like some advisory services.
Yes. Tick the box. I'd like business services, or I'd like business advisory. They don't know. They don't know what they don't know, do they? No.
Our job, and this is where it gets a bit irky, because I don't believe that we're salespeople.
No.
But it is our job to share the way we can help our clients. Because as advisors, that's what we do.
Correct.
We help people, we help them meet compliance obligations. We help them understand their businesses. We help them with all these other things. It's just about making sure we tell people that we can do that.
Yes. I am exactly the same. It's like we are, that's sales is a bit of a dirty word in accounting. We don't like it. It's certainly not our natural instinct. We have our definition of that is perhaps not where it's at these days, but it's just something we're adverse to, really. And no, it's not, we're not salespeople, but it is our job as service professionals to be able to position what we can help a client with in a way they can simply understand. And I don't think we've been doing a great job of that at all. It's up to us to invite them into this, because they just don't know what they don't know.
And I think another place that when you say, right, I'm going to offer these services, what clients would this be good for? It is, and this is where the sell comes in, right? It's not a sell. It's have that client, come in or sit down or have a meeting with them and talk to them about how could we further be supporting you?
Yes.
Not what advice do you need?
No.
But how could we further support you? I've looked through your stuff. I've identified and this is how we could, help you move in this way. Is that something that interests you?
Would that help?
And this is totally, I think this is totally, your space, Linda. But it's those initial conversations. It's the identification of services that clients actually want.
Yes.
But don't know that they need yet.
Yes.
It's like all of those sorts of things. I said that the wrong way around. Anyway, it's all of those sorts of things that I think we miss it, right? Like we're so keen, we're going to do these advisory services, it's going to be this extra income stream for our business. Let's go.
Yes.
But actually, you have to go through your client base, identify, do some hard work, figure out what the key maybe areas of help and assistance that you can provide, and then have those initial meetings. Linda, this is totally your space. Like you have like this thing, this is how you do it, right?
I do. And and that's where I spend a lot of my time these days, is in the process of advisory. And when I say the process of advisory, it's the process of the conversations and the lead up and the positioning of advisory. I get a lot of accountants that come to me and say, I've got all the software tools, I've got all these great reports, I've got all of this, and we've been doing advisory, but the clients just don't seem to want to pay for it. They don't understand it. They don't engage with it. So our process and our training is all about the client engagement and the conversations, and how to invite a client into a advisory relationship so they can understand what they're getting into, because ultimately it's the client's decision. We are not there, and this is where the sales thing comes in that you're talking about. We're not there to bang them over the head and saying you have to pay for this is what you must do. It is not compliance. Advisory is a choice. or these additional services are a choice. They do not have to be done. So that's where I think we've seen that mixed success with advisory through accounting, because the accounting industry has been telling us forever, advisory is the answer. We've got to do this. This is where the profession is going. This is what we're supposed to be doing. But no one's really told us, how do we have these conversations? How do we position it in a way that we don't have to feel like we're selling it, And so that's what I do. That's where I hang out, and I enjoy doing that.
Question.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Okay.
What comes first, the software or the service?
The service. The conversation. 100%. I'm going to throw a third one in there. It's the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
yes.
That's right. The conversation. No, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason people have gone on this advisory train, I'll call it, and it's gone, oh, my clients aren't connecting, is because software has come first.
Yes.
And I totally get that. Like,
yes.
I go to all these,
yes.
events and showcases and expos and da-da-da, and you sit there and you're like, oh my goodness, that makes what I want to do so easy.
Yes,
so then you
correct.
Get that, and it's a tool.
Yes.
I love to show these flashy statements. Clients hate it when I put their profit and loss in front of them. I don't want to create, charts and like, how good does that look? I'm going to get that and I'm going to bring it in.
Exactly.
You get it and you bring it in, and then it's like, oh, now what?
Yeah, what do I do now?
The people. Yeah.
Do I just mail them out? Do I just show them what it is? Do I just shove it in front of them and go, look at this pretty graph? Exactly. So, time and time again, that's where people come into our training that, are looking for. I've done all that. They've been down that path. Software has been there as a tool, and yes, it's a part of it. Kylie, you're exactly right, and it's important to have it, but it is only a tool. We've got to learn how to invite. We've got to learn how to have the conversation, how to position. And yeah, we've put a process around that to make it easy for everyone.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think from a practice management point of view, those conversations and identification of your key clients that you're going to offer these services to does need to come first before the software. I'm not knocking software.
No, you love software.
I love software, and I've tried and reviewed most things that are around in that space. But you have to figure out what clients you're going to service and how you're going to do it, and what software you're going to use so that you can work out your pricing point, of course.
Exactly.
But the software is super important.
Yes.
Because you need to figure out, does that software, like if I'm going to do these services for, let's say, 5 key clients and try and get that off the ground, does that one piece of software work for what you actually want to do for those 5 people?
Yes, exactly.
So you have to be careful with it.
Yes. And there is certainly, again, it's another one of those things we talk consistently about: planning, communication, a lot of different things, thinking about what our business needs or what we need as a professional to further our career. There's planning in that. You don't just wake up and go, okay, I'm doing advisory today. There is, I'm sure that's probably what's happened, because a lot of it does get given away for free. But the thing is that there is a bit of planning. It's a strategy. And so, when you can get some help and advice or some direction around what the strategy is and how you put it together, well, you're 10 steps in front of everybody else. So I think that's, a good thing.
I agree. I think that this is definitely an area where we can really add value to our clients, and also another, income revenue stream to our businesses. And I see this service as absolutely win-win. So it is so frustrating when I have a chat to my accountant friends, and it's like, why might that not be working, or why isn't what's happening here, or why, even if you are doing it and really successfully, why isn't it making any money? Like, what's happening? Where's this disconnect? And I think it comes down to a fly by the seat of your pants approach. Often with this sort of thing, we wait for clients to approach us, or we might approach the client, but then you're backpedaling the whole time.
Yes.
So I think, Linda, what you're saying about really being process oriented, making sure you have the conversations, in that way you are setting yourself up for success. And yeah, this could be such a successful area of your business.
Absolutely.
And so rewarding. Like, I find it personally so rewarding.
I do too, because I do this work as well. I don't do tax and accounting anymore, but I certainly do what you would call business improvement work, or coaching, if you want to call it that, as well. But I love it. It's as far as I'm concerned, it's the most rewarding work I've ever done in 30 years of accounting. When you see clients' eyes light up and those light bulb moments and epiphany moments for them, and they go away and they're so engaged and bouncing out the door ready to do the next thing that you talked about, that's when you've done it, as you've done your job as a service professional, and that's what we're here for. So I think you get this right, and it brings so much to you professionally that it is beyond belief until you actually experience it for yourself. And I know you've experienced those feelings and seen that too, Kylie.
Yeah,
it's really amazing. Yeah, it is. So
you go.
I was just going to say, so speaking about next gen accountants, how do they get their piece of this advisory pie? I suppose the thing is, traditional path to advisory, if we look at that, you've been hanging around accounting for probably more than 10 years or so, hoping to maybe make partner or director one day, or looking at that, or getting up into senior management status, before you even considered doing advisory, or even if you've been allowed to talk to clients on that basis. So I think a lot of why we don't do advisory is often our confidence around this space. We might see somebody else in the firm that does it very well, and we're like, oh, I can't be Kylie because she's amazing. I'm not her. I'm just an accountant, and I like my numbers. So often that's what makes it difficult to pass on to the next generation, or younger accountants, or newer to accounting graduates, but also too, even knowing where to start. You might be looking at other firms and getting that same opinion. It's, I can't do that. Kylie's the best conversationalist ever. How could I do that? I saw you frown then.
Let's not get carried away. But, this is exactly where I wanted to go with this conversation too, because I think another reason that maybe earlier career accountants aren't jumping on to advisory or getting this skill set is because they get told, no, you have to be a senior to do this, or you have to be a partner or a director to do this. So in your head, you're just like, I don't do that.
No.
It's a bit like SMSF compliance. If you're not exposed to it, then you just don't do it. It sort of runs along by the side. So I think what we need to change, in my opinion, in this next gen situation is we need to, and we are going to disagree here, I'm sure, we need to get earlier career accountants onto this, because let's just remember that early career accountants are not 21-year-olds straight out of uni. That's a generalisation and an assumption that we all immediately think of when we say early career accountants. They are people that are early in their career in this industry. So some of those guys come with a wealth of knowledge from a specific industry background, or from a business that they've owned and run themselves, or whatever. I think it would be silly to go, oh no, our rule is to be a senior to get that involved. And I think the sooner we, back in the day, we didn't even let grads speak to clients, right?
No. I know.
Now I think that's changed. That's changed. And I think it's
I would hope so.
These advisory services, we need to get these guys in with their foot in the door. Now, I'm not saying they should be in there being the only one to have the conversations, running the whole show, but they don't have that skill set. They're, early career. But I think, and I'll be really straight shooting about this, in order to make some money off this and to keep these early career accountants involved and having fun in it, you need to involve them in the process. But Linda, you have gone on the record.
I knew you were going to bring this. Is going to come back to haunt me, this statement. Yes, tell me, what did I say?
When you spoke on the Accountants Exposed podcast, you said, and I loved that Michael used this snip of you in all of his stuff, you said you need to have 5 years experience or more.
Yes.
So let's discuss.
Yes. Well, funnily enough, I'm not going to disagree with you outrightly on that. So when I say 5 years experience, I'm talking about the 21-year-old graduate that comes out of, uni and into accounting. So 5 years, my idea of 5 years experience is that, have we seen enough businesses? Have we worked with the numbers and the knowledge around the basic mechanics or infrastructure of what a business is and what makes them tick? And also, too, those people skills. So it's not so much technical tax experience that I was talking about there. It was as much life experience. So the example that you explained about somebody coming in with some great industry experience, go your hardest. 12 months once they're, aligned with your processes, how you speak with clients, and everything, aligned with your visions and values and things, then go for it if they've got that more worldly experience. But I think that's the thing, though. If we look at our graduates and younger graduates coming out into the industry now, they're wanting different things and almost expecting to be able to do some of this work. So we've got, again, that disconnect happening. If you're one of those firms that are saying, no, only partners do this, that's going to be a real problem, because we're having trouble attracting talent to the industry, aren't we?
Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have an image problem.
Yeah, we talked about that too.
That we're boring people that just sit and look at the computer. Like, if we can get these early career accountants in and doing stuff that they really they get to have the fun part. They get to see the light bulb moment.
Yeah.
They get appreciated by clients. They get they know that they're really adding value.
Yes.
Because in the early career, like we all remember, you just like, I don't even know what I'm doing. They didn't teach me any of this at university.
No.
What did I pay that 30
No.
grand for? Blah, blah, blah. So you feel like for 12 months at least, I'm not really getting anywhere. Like, this is a sink or swim situation, and I'm just like breathing under the water.
Yes.
I think that this is a space where they can add so much value and insight. One of the things that has changed about the university degree and the CPA or CA is that they're really teaching them about dashboards. They're teaching them about analysis and review. They're not teaching them anything practically as far as coming into the office. But other than that, there's a heap of stuff being learned. And I think that that's an overlooked space. Like, when I had this experience, when we really launched these services properly instead of doing them ad hoc, I did have an early career accountant with me at that time, and she worked with me for about 4 years. And I sort of said to her, do you want to have a look? This is my vision. This is what I want to do. Do you want to have a look at this? Man, she ran with it. Like, she was amazing.
That's fabulous.
And really was able to bring things to the table that I wouldn't have otherwise flagged. Like, things that I go, oh, yeah, that's obvious. She was like, yeah, but doesn't that mean this? And I was like, yeah, if you're saying that, maybe that's what the client needs as well.
Yes.
So I think these, early career accountants could be pivotal in our business. And often with Next Gen, particularly if we've gone out on our own and we're low cost, that's the sort of person we have available to us.
And pivotal to the future of the industry, Kylie, is what you're saying there, because we are not attracting the right people to the industry because of how we have gone about some of these things. And, I think we've got to seriously look at changing that from an industry perspective. So this is really important. And I hope my ultimate vision for what I'm doing in my training is to take some parts of that and it to be in CPA's public practice, before they get their public practice certificate, in that training that you do for that it's included in that, perhaps in the, other industry bodies as well, that they do some of this communication training, that's really pragmatic and gets to the core of the skill that we really need to learn. So that's my ultimate goal, because I'm all about the future of the profession and making sure that we're sustainable for the long term and enjoying ourselves, and we're not overwhelmed, stressed out, wanting to leave the industry people, which I'm seeing a lot of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Linda, you see a lot of firms that are doing advisory and you're helping them along their way.
Yes.
Would you say that it is a particularly profitable area of the practice?
It can be. It can be. I think, I talk about advisory as we know it, and what I call the business improvement advisory, or what you talk about getting to know your firm or your business better. So advisory as we know it is probably when you really have a good look at it, the way it is being delivered. It's delivered just a bit like compliance, and 9 times out of 10, it actually won't be profitable. When you have a really good look at it, it won't be, because there's no process or structure that generally sits behind it. It's just somebody that's gone out there and done that instinctually, and they're just doing what they do, or we're all just doing what we do. Now, that hasn't been wrong. Thank goodness someone's been out there having a go, because our clients need that. And so that's been great. But if you actually look at it from a business sense, it probably is not profitable. And then you end up in those problems of, how do I pass that on to a next gen accountant or an early career accountant? And you can't, because it's something you've just done instinctually. So just harking back to what you said before, process and structure is very, very important in this. And there's a number of there's plenty of information out there about that. And of course, if anybody is interested in that, I'm going to do a plug for my book, but Accounting Revolution has all of that. So if you are a next gen accountant or early career accountant, and advisory is something you'd like to look at, grab my book. It's so easily accessible. Everything that I train is in there, and you can have it, for the cost of a book. So it's not hard to get a hold of, and that there has the whole process for you. So enough of me selling, but I think
no. Fun fact: after I met Linda for the first time, and it was I'll call it a social-ish event. It wasn't like a formal event.
No.
I went home and ordered Linda's book online, and she sent it to me duly. And I read it, and it's really practical. It gives you step-by-step, this sort of foolproof way of introducing these services. And I think regardless of whether you've done them before or you haven't done them, or you're doing them, if it's not working, it's actually a really helpful guide.
Yeah.
Yes. Really helpful.
Excellent. So I think then, though, if you've got some of that information, but you're in a firm where it's the traditional path, no, only partners do that, but you want to get into this space and you're feeling a bit miffed that you can't, what can we do then as a team member? And we'll switch to the other side to do the team leader as well. But what could we do as a team member to basically raise our hand and say, hey, I'm interested in this and I want to learn, I want to develop my capabilities. So from my perspective and what I see, and you can obviously give the practitioner side, Kylie, is to get some information. We just talked about that. But ask questions. Get really curious about clients, both with your peers, with perhaps the leaders of the firm, with clients themselves, or you may have friends that are running their businesses. So get curious. Find out why perhaps a particular path was mentioned, or why they are in business, why they do something. And then it's really about thinking about how you can align your knowledge and your expertise with trying to help them with some of their issues. The other thing too, I think you can do as a team member is, if advisory conversations are happening within the office, ask to participate in them so that you can learn. So not necessarily from the fact it's like, I can do advisory, I'm going to jump right in, let me have a go at the clients. No, that mightn't go down quite so well if you're doing that straight away, but ask to be included. And I think most leaders would take that as a good sign, Kylie, wouldn't they?
Yeah, 100%. I think practical steps are all the ones you've included, but also like when you're working in the office, and let's say you just, in a compliance sort of space and you're doing tax returns, financial statements, you are the key person to have those conversations with the client, because that's when you say, oh, can you give me this? And they say, oh, yeah, this happened, or I didn't really know what to do about that because of this. They're all the things that you need to take note of and not just go, okay, thanks. and take to the person that is doing maybe these sorts of more specialist meetings, so that that person sees that you're able to identify key issues. You know, I think too often we teach people how to do the job and what to do, but not what it actually means.
Yes.
So take the time to sit back and go, what does this client's business even do?
Yes.
And is that benchmark? Like, does that
Yes.
actually make money? And why don't they make more money? Like, I would have assumed that they'd make more money than that, you know. Ask yourself those questions and see what further questions you come up with.
Yes.
Because if you've got those questions, the clients probably have those questions.
Because if we want... if we want to look at this, it's about the people. It's, you know, yes, numbers are telling us good stories and some great information, but yeah, you're right. I think as technical experts, we've been buried in our numbers and it's all just numbers to us. We forget that it's people's lives on the other side that we're actually dealing with here. So it's make it personal. That's a great tip. I think you're exactly right, Kylie. Hit the nail on the head.
And it also just makes you a better accountant because you're looking at the bigger picture stuff. So even if you don't get in on the meetings or you don't get to participate in report preparing or whatever your firm particularly does, at least you might be identifying issues and going, how does that work? You know, don't also show your cards. Make sure that if you want to be involved in that space, you're asking questions. Hey, how do we do that? What does that look like? What can I have a look at the report that we send to that client? Like, you know, ask all those questions.
Get curious.
Show interest because I think a lot of the time as business owners of accounting firms, we can also get really bogged down in that person does that person does that, and we need to look at everybody's individual skill sets and also what transferable skills they've got too.
Absolutely, because we're all busy people, right? And it is easy just to keep a handle on everything. Sometimes, you know, you do have to have that attitude to your business. You know, it's tricky. It's, you know, our demands on our time are, you know, ever present. And so, you know, it can be tricky. So yes, be a little bit vocal about it. Be curious, raise your hand and ask some questions. I think then too, if I think about my journey way back when, you know, there you will throughout your career, maybe not in the first year, or you might, but depending on how you've entered accounting, you'll often bring a client or two with you, or you'll have some family or some friends or some clients that you've developed quite a close relationship with, and the relationship happens to be more with you than necessarily anyone else in the firm, including the partner, just because of the working relationship that you had, or they'll come with you. They are the clients to start this journey with, the ones that you already have that relationship with. Don't go asking to do advisory conversations with the firm's largest client and the most sophisticated one. You know, you're probably going to get a surefire knockback with that one. But, you know, ask for someone you're familiar with, that you already have a relationship with. Would it be okay for you to investigate some different things for them and chat with the partner or the director about how you might charge for that or what that might look like? But that's the place to start.
The other thing I just want to say, since you've raised fees and charging, is please do charge for these services.
Yes.
We have all studied super hard, and we have these unique skill sets and so much value to offer our clients. And when you don't charge for that, it devalues it, not only for yourself and your own business, but for our whole industry. So we need to make sure that we're not giving away these services on a monthly basis for nil cost. Because
correct.
This is actually where clients see value. It sucks for us because we spend so much time, and there's so much time in compliance-based activities.
Yeah.
Clients don't care. They care about the end result. You know, whereas this is a space that clients really care. So if anything, if you're not going to charge, don't charge for compliance and charge for this.
Yes.
No one would ever do that, right? But that's the mindset that we need to have.
I've got, you know, I think that's accounting utopia. You know, if we could charge for that and that's all you're charging for, and the compliance just becomes a matter of fact thing, quite automated, you know, because, and yeah, who knows, maybe that is in our future. Who knows? Okay, then, as a team leader, what can you do to perhaps spot or help somebody that wants to get into this space? How can you help further their experience along in this. So I think it's watch for these traits. You know, if you are being curious, if you are asking the questions, it's take notice if you can, you know, out of your busy day. And just include your team in general in these conversations when you've had a win or something did work or didn't work. Communication again, I'd say, Kylie.
Yeah, but also practically have a look around, look outside your little bubble, see what software is available and what that software automatically does produce. Learn to use a dashboard, learn, you know, how to get information and then put it in a language that clients understand. These are all really important things. And the people in your office that have skill sets like know how to, you know, put the CSV file in and and automatically produce the reports, they're going to be one up on you if you don't have those skills. So I think take this as an opportunity for learning as well.
Yeah, perfect. Excellent. And I think, again, I'm just going to go back to, again, you need a process in place, whether that's something you've developed yourself or you take something out of my book or what I'm teaching, get a process in place, because then we can repeat it and we can teach it. And that's really what this is about, making this skill repeatable, scalable, and to be able to pass it on to whomever might be interested in this space. Now, we have been talking a lot about advisory, you know, obviously today, but for some accountants that just want to do compliance and are technical whizzes at compliance, we need you to. Not everybody has to do advisory. Yes, it is a big part of where accounting will go in the future, but compliance experts are so important to us as well. So we're not ruling them out either. So if advisory just isn't interesting to you, then, you know, become great at what you do. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the foundation. Like without that, you know, technical, excellent, true, correct source data, advisory is not worth anything really, because what are you talking about?
Exactly. All right. So I think we've covered this pretty well. Kylie, we talked about what a next gen accountant is, what advisory is, and defining that for you and your firm, meeting clients where they are, because it's all about people. We just, you know, it's not really about the numbers. Advisory of business improvement, getting to know your business. It's about the people on the other side that are affected by this and how can we help them? How can you get started in this space? You know, getting curious, asking questions, and getting some information about putting your own process together if that's what you'd like to do. And of course, as a team leader, sharing these conversations with your team, and also making sure that you do have the right tools around you with software, and understanding what's out there as well. So there's plenty of help, you know, out there, and advice if you're looking for it. You just have to come and contact or reach out, because there will be somebody that can help. Kylie, anything else you wanted to wrap up with this conversation?
No, I just think empower yourself to do it. It helps you and it helps your clients. It's a win-win situation.
It is a win-win situation. And as I said before too, I love this work, and this is what makes me very proud to be an accountant. And so, you know, I will very proudly stand up and say that I do this because yeah, it's heart-centered for me, and where exactly I think a lot of us could go. So yeah, perfect.
Awesome.
Okay, so next week, what are we talking about next week? Okay, Wednesday, 10th of August, 7 a.m. That's my dad's birthday, actually, 10th of August. So happy birthday to my dad for next week. Marketing for accounting firms. Does it really work? That's what we're going to chat about. So off the back of today about positioning advisory, we talked a little bit about that. Let's talk about some marketing, and the good, the bad, and the ugly, I suppose, about marketing, because it's all there, isn't it, really? So that'll be an interesting topic, and I hope everyone will join us. Thank you for joining us in Clubhouse this morning. And if you did have any questions, you can reach out to Kylie or myself. LinkedIn's probably the easiest to contact us, but we are available on other platforms. And of course, through Clubhouse, the chat's there too, if you wanted to post a question or talk to us, because these topics are here for you. We'd love to hear about what you would like to hear us ramble on about. We do enjoy our chats, and thank you once again, Kylie. You've been amazing as always.
Pleasure. Thank you for all your hard work, and see you guys next week.
No worries. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you soon.